Towards a functioning rail system. Well, you all saw what happened in the course of the week, and it definitely. Why are you smiling?
Because I was very, very embarrassed when I saw that video. I was very embarrassed.
And that's one of several. Well, Mr. Fide Tohiria joins us this morning. He's Managing Director, Nigeria Railway Corporation. Thanks for joining us this morning. You most certainly know how people are feeling about that experience. You want to begin by telling us exactly what happened?
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians. It's a pity that it happened. And that shows that we have to improve on what we do. We have staff that will check the technical, the fuel level at Ibadan. And they claim they did that. On its way to Papalanto, the operator who also signed off that everything was okay, raised an alarm that the fuel had gone down, which we later found out to be malfunctioning fuel gauge. But however, as far as he sent that alarm, the staff on duty had to get ready to send diesel in drums. The case was saying was correct. And that's what happened. There was a technical hitch that was corrected within an hour. The advent of social media, there is no place to hide. And that's what actually happened. We are looking into it so that such thing cannot happen again. And you know the situation of diesel. So we are not also ruling out that some people were trying to play some games with our diesel. So as a result, we have set up a committee to look into it properly and come out with a correct position. So I think I'll stop there as regards to the situation that happened this week.
Mr. Kiria, you said malfunctioning fuel gauge. What were your engineers doing before the train left Lagos? Like they didn't discover that the gauge was malfunctioning.
That's the explanation I said, that we will find out what happened, that they could not detect that the gauge was not reading correctly. However, we already have our consumption pattern that when you fuel the locomotive about 5,000 liters, the number of trips it should make before talking about fuel not enough to make her journey. You know, within the week, the diesel rose from 400 to 700. So as a person, that's the angle I'm taking it. And that's why I'm not taking it low. I think there was a game that some of the staff were trying to play. And we have set up a committee to look into that. You don't just wake up and say the diesel was low. So if the volume of diesel that was supposed to be fed to the locomotive was actually fed, we know the number of trips it should run, not necessarily the gauge. But all these things will come out within the course of next week.
How significant is this discovery for you, given the efforts to revamp the sector over the years?
You see, I think Nigerians should look inwards and think for the betterment of Nigeria. We encounter this every day, not that it's just, people have been sacked. You can't imagine asking an operator to take a train on its way to Jebba, he will exclaim an excuse of a failure. Now that we have a real-time monitoring on some of our locomotives, which we are trying to do, we get them, and we deal with them. 2 weeks ago, just a rail bus take some staff to put Joko for an inspection. After dropping the people, he moved within session, which is a collaboration between the station master that will permit the local to move and the driver. Eventually, not knowing that some people were interested in what they were doing, they drained about 425 liters keg from the rail bus. And immediately we put them on suspension because you have to conclude the process before you dismiss them. I'm going to dismiss them. So I think this opportunity allowed me to sign a warning to them who want to play prank because of the high cost of diesel. Because the Nigerians are the end losers of these things. Diesels are expensive, and we cannot just wake up and say we are increasing our fare because we are supposed to provide service. And some people are trying to behave badly by stealing diesel. So I think we are getting to the end of such practices. What we have done is to install a monitoring, and we engage somebody who monitor and give us monthly reports on the journey of the locomotive. That when it's going to Kano, and every week we get the report by the real-time monitoring devices were placed on our locomotive and fuel depots.
Mr. Kiria, this is a service that everyone had paid you compliments on. Even earlier this week, some people had gone on that service and had posted on social media what a fantastic service it was, and urging people to go and try it out. You know, the air conditioning is working. You know, all the accolades were given to your organization for that service. And then this happens. I mean,
I think it's a painful thing, but they should also praise us for our quick response to ensure the train was not delayed for more than 1 hour. We responded quickly, and the journey continued. And that is the attitude of all of us, not just the railwayman. Because a situation where you put a security man to guide a system and bringing people to start stealing there, we experience this every day. So our attitudes have to change. There is no place to hide. So it's painful. Then Nigerians behave like this, and sometimes I look down. And so those who criticize those that are governing them are worse, because I work with the low people and I know what they are thinking and their actions are. So they put us under unnecessary stress that should not happen. And out of every 12, there will be a Judah. So, but we say it's now the responsibility of management officers, the Judah, and have appropriate punitive measures to ensure that it serves as a deterrent for those who are planning such things.
Engineer Kiria, forgive me for, raising this angle, but could this be anything to do with the welfare of the men you work with?
And if you see, I'm very strict. I joined this service. Nobody begged me to join. Nobody. And there are alternative places I would have gone to work. If I remain to work there, I should bear my heart out and work there. Low welfare is not an issue. Otherwise, in the other part of the world, they give people that are not working money. Do you not say because you are not getting money because you are not working, you should kill the country? So it's not enough reason. It's just our character.
You are the managing director, so, it's perhaps easier for you to say. And since you say you work with the people on the lower rung of the ladder, you must know what they go through.
That's what I'm saying. So people are still begging to come and work, knowing the welfare package we have. We have over 500,000 applications. And I have people bombarding my office today, we want to work, we want to work, we want to work. So which you have the opportunity, you should make the best use of it by not stealing and by not sabotaging the system. That's what I'm saying. Everybody cannot work in Central Park. Everybody cannot work in NNPC. So we should make the best use of our opportunity by doing the right thing. So that's what I'm emphasizing. However, we are trying to work out, and the government is looking at our package, salary package, and they all know that we are close to getting meaningful results to improve their welfare. So it's not a secret. They all know it. They will address them, and we let them know this. The union knows this, and that they are also playing a role to ensure that the packages are improved upon. So it's not enough reason to sabotage where you think your next meal will come from. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, go on.
I was just tickled by what you had said earlier, Mr. Okiri, about people trying to make a fast buck because of the cost of diesel. And I remember the Nigerian expression, it's a work chop. Workshop, work chop is where you work that you chop.
But you don't chop and kill it, or else you will not see what to eat.
Do forgive me. Do forgive me. Now we're talking about towards a functioning rail system, and Mr. Okiria, this happened between Lagos and Ibadan, which by any kind of stretch of the imagination is a short journey, because trains in Nigeria do much longer trips.
Yeah.
So, and in the times we're in now with insecurity and everything, what are you doing about making sure that on those longer trips, this kind of thing doesn't happen where people are stuck in the middle of nowhere, in some forest or the other?
No. You see, we ensure that we have our fueling depot. Like if you are going to Kano, if you fuel in Lagos, we already know the consumption pattern of all our locomotives. We have a fuel depot at Ofa. Then we have at Minna, we have in Kaduna, we have in Zaria and Kano. So at every point in time, it's just like on a flight that we must fuel to get back in case there are emergencies. So also we do that. So that's why it beats my imagination between Lagos and Ibadan. It's the first train of the day, and all necessary service would have been carried out overnight, and if required, fueling would have been fueled. It's not just we say at the top of it. I think before the end of the week, I'll get back to you and tell you what actually happened.
And we'll be waiting for that. We'll be waiting for that.
That's what I can say. It's unbelievable that the first train of the morning, we'll be talking about fuel or something. I think something mysterious happened that we have to find.
Mr. Okiria, where did that drum of diesel mysteriously appear from?
No. You see, what happened was that when they signed that alarm, we have to contact our Papalanto office. We already have some story, because we have generators all through the line, all the 10 stations. So we fuel them by taking drums to them, because the fuel tank has not been installed in those various stations. So we have fuel in drums that we take to the various stations to fuel. So when they raise that alarm, we just directed that they ensure that those fuels in drums should be taken to the appropriate place where they can refuel.
Okay. Well, Engineer Okiria, when this news broke, people didn't look at the officers, they looked at the institution, Nigeria Railway Corporation. Is there how significantly do you think this impinged or affected the aspirations of your organization?
You see, as I said earlier, we should not be pretending. The Nigerian staff, the railway staff is a Nigerian, and that attitude is permit all the cadre of this thing. But we have to make a difference, and that's why we have this difference in railway happening now. But we have to dig deep, because they are from our various Nigerian homes. They are not. I'm going to put another period.
You spoke to that earlier, but I'm just asking, in what way do you think this has or may have affected the aspirations of your organization? I know that there are aspirations, there are goals, there are future plans that the organization has. So I'm just wondering if there is any way this has affected that, and what are some of those goals that people should look out for?
They should look for better service, and we promise It's not going to happen and never will happen again. That is what I'm assuring Nigeria.
Okay.
It's a learning process. When things happen, you learn on it and gain experience and knowledge, and you move it forward. So there are other things we are going to put in place apart from what we have before that can make such a thing not to repeat itself. So it's good that it happened while we could. It happened at a place that it can easily be addressed. Not the one that would have taken us 2 days to get information on it and address it. So based on that, we are going to put system in place. We are going to have some people that we think are God-fearing and dedicated to work to ensure that these things don't happen again. But however, from what I'm not messing with, we are going to deal with the situation drastically so that people will learn that you can't just start fumbling and misbehaving when we are trying to move forward. Some people are trying to drag us forward. We have to do something about it. It's a learning process, as I said, and we have learned from this, and it can never happen again.
Okay. From what I said earlier, Mr. Okiria, is it possible that some of your staff are not on the same page as you regarding the goals of the new Nigerian Railway Corporation?
I will be dreaming if I expect them to have the same idea. People join a system on a different, having a different thing in mind. We have a situation: you employ staff, in 3 months he will come to work, you sack him, the following day he will come to work and be crying. So it means you don't have the same aspiration, and we can't. When you interview them, you see them and they think that they will be. But by the time they start the work, then they start complaining. My money is not enough for me to pay my transport ticket, and that is not an excuse. So we don't. I would be foolish to say I expect everybody to have the aspiration the government is having to have a modern and a very, very functional railway system, or have the same thing with me. So there are some people. I think it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing that even when you give spare part to some people, they want to hide it and bring it back. We have all these evidences. But being that I've been in the system, I know what happened. I know all the tricks, and I'm up to the game.
Okay. Well, there's something else talking about the service now. There's something that you said recently that the train services in Nigeria is subsidized. Is that correct?
You see, right now, if we are not subsidizing, and suddenly diesel jump from 340 to 400, 600, 700 within 2 weeks, how will it operate? The salaries are paid fully by government, and they still give us some capital vote. What we do now is barely enough to operate the train. That is correct and situation we have. So they still provide, buy the locomotive. We can't earn enough to buy the locomotive or add to the new locomotive. So
doesn't that then raise the? I mean, there are those who have the opinion that because they were this revamp, this modernization of our railway system, they came as a result of loans. So there are those who are wondering how we're going to repay the loans if we still subsidize the services.
Okay, you see, a rail service is an infrastructure. Compare it with the roads. Government provides funds for the road. It's not ABC. It's not Ekene Delichuku that build the roads. But government have to provide the roads. The same way they have to make sure that they provide the rail. Being a limited and have to be controlled system, because on the road you can divert. If you are going to Enugu, you can try to take another road, and if a driver is coming, you turn your steering. The rail system is a permanent rail system. Once you put a train on the rail, you have to control it. That is the difference between a road rail that it has to be in one hand, in Nigerian corporation. So that is so nobody asks how do you pay back the money you used in doing Lagos Ibadan.
Well,
nobody
on that,
asks how do you pay back
on that,
when you
Engineer Okiria, on that, the operators on the roads, be commercial or private, they pay taxes. The airports built by government and all. They operate with airline operators who are private operators. They pay taxes. Is there a future where railway service in Nigeria will be privatized?
No, we are asking for people to come in right now. It's open. We are ready. That's why you see the Lagos State are doing something. We are supporting them. You see the federal capital, that is Cross River. If people come up, we support them. Mind you, rail is not cheap. It's not that you can buy 2 buses and you operate. A locomotive, 1 locomotive without the coaches, $4.5 million. So we're encouraging them. Our government is even encouraging them. When you come in and you are not making it, do we work a system out why even government can subsidize? It's done in the US. Go and check their budget every year. It's called capital state and private system. They still have a budget for rail operators that they give to them in billions of dollars. You can check it. You can go it.
But those environments that you speak to,
you have to provide service. You and I have to get a better service.
But
for other sectors of the economy and commerce to grow.
Okay.
That's what you should.
All right, but those sectors that you spoke to, those parts of the world that you spoke to, the systems seem to have been so firmed up in such a way that they work, generally smoothly. So the concern on the minds of several people is the sustainability of this system, this rail system, this modernization, in the light of the fact that it still rests or survives on the subsidy, on the mercy of government.
I think you should know better than me. Even the airline you talk about, how much did America spend every year to give to them? The private, so-called private companies. You have the term bailout is it's not for government setup, it's for private sector in order to make the citizens benefit and keep jobs.
Okay.
So this morning I tried to speak the truth as it is. So there is no way you can do rail system without government input all over the world. There is no way. It's infrastructure and it's capital expensive. If I'm a businessman, am I going to buy 1 locomotive $4.5 million? That is the answer for everybody to answer. Okay. Before you buy the rail stock, are you going to do a track that will cost you a minimum, let's say $2.5 million per kilometer as a businessman?
Okay. Well, it definitely is sounding like I need to come do some IT with you so I can understand this. But for now, we have to thank you very much for being a part of our conversation. Engineer Fideto Kyria is Managing Director, Nigeria Railway Corporation. Thank you so much for your time.